don't just want to buy a certain location that is beyond our budget. We look through, you find out that there's an organizer down your road. Your driver, if you find out that might have a problem, these people understand these things. So you might say, oh, because I see a lot of people say, oh, Moji, I don't have the money, it's all millions. But the truth is, your generator man is living somewhere and he owns that apartment. And he comes all the way from that place to work in Ikoyi every morning. He comes all the way from Norway to come to do the work in Victoria Island. Well, you don't want to put in the work, you want to buy VI, and you are desiring Victoria Island, and you don't have the money. So real estate is achievable. It's just you that is putting unnecessary pressure on yourself.
Welcome to Deal Landers, the podcast that uncovers the secrets to closing deals like a pro. I'm your host, Amara Musa, and on each episode, we invite industry leaders from real estate and beyond to share their insights and success tips. So whether you're a seasoned professional or you're just starting out, our guests will equip you with the strategies you need to elevate your deal-making skills to land that next big deal. Today, I have with me Mojisola Afolayan, a phenomenal force in the real estate industry. She's a principal partner at Mojisola Afolayan Estates, a premier real estate consultancy in Nigeria. And she just recently launched her groundbreaking book, Chics Doing Real Estate, where she equips women with the fundamental tools and resources to confidently invest in the real estate market. Mojisola is an award-winning realtor and has positioned herself as a thought leader in Nigeria's real estate scene, and we are so happy to have her here with us. Welcome to Deal Landers, Moji.
Thank you. What an amazing profile she does. Congratulations to you. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm happy to be here.
So, Moji, I've been actually meaning to ask you, and I'm happy that I get the opportunity to ask you here. What inspired you to write Chics Doing Real Estate?
So Chics Doing Real Estate is an aftermath of my experience, my personal experience. But what made me turn it into a book is that I believe that there's a limit to where I can reach. And with the book, more women will be educated. They can also learn from my story, and they can also see the reason there's this urgency that they need to start building wealth if they haven't started. And many times people ask different questions. They always ask me, where do I start from? What do I need to do? And I think mindset is also very key. Even in the journey of investing, you must have the right mindset. And those are the things I talked about in my book, why discipline is also very, very important. I mean, being intentional, knowing what you want to achieve, and all these things were discussed in the book.
Amazing. And you're saying that, a lot of women have approached you.
Oh, yeah.
And so what kind of challenges have they come? What do you see as like the recurring challenges for women that come to you?
So the thing is, we've all been taught to save. There's a category of women that do not even save. Let's even leave this was aside for now. Let's focus on
Let's not confess.
Yes, let's focus on the ones who actually do save. But when it comes to investing, only a few percentage of women understand money and how money works. And financial literacy is very, very important. And beyond financial literacy is also financial empowerment. So women must wake up to that, owning that responsibility. There's also a sense of responsibility there, saying, I'm going to teach myself, even though I wasn't taught to understand money, to how money goes. Because money must be made, money must be managed, and money must, grow. Because if you don't nurture, just like your baby, if you don't nurture the baby well, the child will not grow well. Do you get? Mm-hmm. So for your money to grow, you need to understand that I need to do something. You won't just abandon it and say, oh, first of all, I've pushed that the baby is here. Let the baby manage itself, it will grow. It doesn't work that way. Just like anything you want to do must be nurtured. So you must nurture your money, and that's where the education comes from.
So are we saying that a lot of women are struggling because they don't have the money?
Yeah, so it's not even about that they don't have the money. Many, when I say many, as high as 80% of women are savers, because naturally we are protectors. naturally we're nurturers. We are always thinking of tomorrow. Women are not just empty saying, oh, it will be rare for you to see a woman that will say, I'm not worried about tomorrow. Tomorrow will sort itself. We always hear that thing, but most women are always conscious before, even as mothers especially, are thinking, oh, what will my children eat when they come back from school? What are we going to eat this night? You see, that's even like a common phrase. What are we going to eat this night? Because we're always thinking, oh, we are ahead. But when it comes, I find out that when it now comes to investing, to be ahead in things that matter, right? Many times women, and it's not because they don't want to, it's because they don't know. So many times you find women struggling. I don't even understand this shares thing. And so if at all women is even safe, they actually also invest in gold, in jewelry. So you find that they just, and one of the reasons is because it can also accessorize you, even though it's also a form of investment. Which is funny that women, even young girls, they are in gold, they are bracelets, they are buying the in thing, they are just, like they're just dressing up, looking good while also investing. So, but when it comes to the real things, especially like real estate, it's not really fair to make.
But don't you think it's because gold is easier to sell? Like if I'm in need of cash now, I can easily go and sell my gold.
Yeah, so those are the parts of the cons for owning gold as an asset.
Right.
And that's also why women understand. So anything they feel is too complex, and that's why we are taking the responsibility to say real estate is not as complex as you think. You can do it too.
Right.
And now because of the book, because of the advocacy, like what we are doing now, people are saying, so I can own real estate. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And of course, for some people, they are also in that place already where they know they can own real estate. But when they hear the prices, they watch your videos, you say this property is going for 1.5 billion. They see Instagram, people are saying this house is 300 million. They're like, yes, I know it's good, but it's not for me. So now it's also to say, yes, you can. You can actually, and the truth is when we go for conferences, we go for these discussions, everybody says start where you are, start with what you have. But somebody has 500K and they're saying, where do I start from? And you agree with me that there was a time in this country where people were selling land of 800K, 900K. But those lands were even not legit lands per se, in terms of that, the titles were not ready at that time. So that's not to say that, women do not invest in real estate. It's just that we don't really have the right support, and we don't have the right enlightenment, education. And that's really what Chics Doing Real Estate is all about.
Amazing. So, from what you said, we're talking about the barriers from within. Do you think that there are barriers in the actual industry that actually discourage women from going ahead to make these real estate investments or close these real estate deals?
Yes, there are limiting beliefs, and there are also self-limiting beliefs. One of the limiting beliefs is to say, I don't do real estate, so it's my husband that does it. Because we also assume within ourselves that it's not something I can do. I don't even understand it. And after all, you shouldn't be doing something you do not understand. And that is where the education also comes from. Because you also want people to invest in what they understand. Because as a professional, you're not just going to bamboozle people to say, I say buy it, then buy it. No, you also want them to come from a place of conviction, because there shouldn't be any duress in any investment. So yes, so women generally need that education. They need to also see people who have done it. And that's also one of the issues I find with many women. Many women are investing, but they don't want to show themselves as the owners of those properties. So for example, people will say, oh, where are the people who have invested with you? They are not interested in showing themselves. But the truth is, as you are there procrastinating, people are closing, cashing out and closing deals and going to the bank. So the whole idea is to create that necessary exposure, going to do things that are not necessarily out there. You find that when people want to even buy real estate books, there are not many Nigerian indigenous real estate books. And now this is also beyond just a real estate book, because I've actually written 4 books Like,
Wow, really?
yeah.
Chics Doing Real Estate is the only one I'm aware of.
Oh, yeah. I have copies.
Really interesting.
4 books. I also 4 books, and they are real estate books. I think the last one, A Seat at the Table, is just the one that really just addresses why you need to be somebody. And if you're not on the table, you're on the menu. And that's also part of my experience and what I've seen within the industry and also in my political journey.
I love that you say that you've written 4 books. I didn't even know that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that means that you're truly invested in the sort of real estate educational ecosystem, you know, and I love that that's available for people out there to actually educate themselves. Like you said, there are limited resources out there. And that is also how people get into traps all the time. Now, you mentioned women not having money, women investing in gold instead because it's easier for them. For a woman to equip themselves in real estate, I feel like it requires knowledge of financial freedom. What does financial freedom look like for a woman? Because we hear financial freedom. What does it mean to be financially free? What does it mean for a woman to have financial freedom?
So if you ask me what financial freedom is to me, Moji, I mean, it is for me to be actually free from worries, free from, I should be able to use my money to pursue causes that I believe in. That is what financial freedom is to me, Moji. And I need to be able to support my family, my community, my nation. There's a lot you can do, and you can only do that when you have capacity. Even politics, changing Nigeria, advocacy for a cause, saying I want to stop malaria, is because Bill Gates, they have what it takes. If you have desire from today, tomorrow, and you do not have money, you are only going to end up frustrated. Even to worship God, you don't need money. So money is key.
To pay your tithes.
To go to Mecca, to go to Jerusalem, to have that experience, you need money. To help the needy, you need money. To do anything. You see a video on Instagram, or you just want to support that person, and there's nothing in your account. There's nothing that can be done. So for me personally, for me to be able to do good, for me to do good in the capacity that I would really love to without thinking twice. And that's what financial freedom is to me. However, for other women, it depends on what is important to them. Some just want to have a good time with their family. Some just really want to give their children quality education.
Some just want to go shopping.
Some just want to go shopping. Some just want to do the buttons. Chill. But the truth is, you must have that money.
Yes.
And depending on the man for money, it's not financial freedom.
Right.
We've seen it time over and over again. You will only end up frustrated, or you can even die in the process.
And I guess real estate can help you achieve that financial freedom.
Absolutely. Over 90% of the richest people in the world built wealth through real estate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
in real estate is a no-brainer. Like, you should be doing real estate at whatever levels. And real estate, if you ask me, is beyond residential. It can be commercial. So you find a lot of women saying, I can't afford the house. And the truth is, I also shared this at a speaking engagement recently, where I said that we all just want to buy a certain location that, is beyond our budgets. If we look through, you find out that there's a organizer down your road. Your driver, if you find out stuff, might have a property. These people understand these things. So you might say, because I see a lot of people say, Moji, I don't have the money. It's all millions. But the truth is, your generator man is living somewhere, and he owns that apartment, and he comes all the way from that place to work in Ikoyi every morning. He comes all the way from Mowe to come to do the work in Victoria Island. Well, you don't want to put in the work. You want to buy VI, and you are desiring Victoria Island, and you don't have the money. So real estate is achievable. It's just you that is putting unnecessary pressure
On yourself.
So find out that there's greed in the world because people are trying to look for ways, cunning ways. I mean, these are the things, these are the pressures we're talking about. Because don't let me digress, because I say I'm already going. But when you see different attitude, even in the real estate industry, in fact, the problems are many. Because everybody in Lagos today is an agent.
Well, that is true. That's another conversation for a different day. Now, in terms of financial freedom, I know that in following you on social media, in following your narrative, one thing that I know you're very supportive of is cooperatives. And I personally have learned a lot of substance of cooperatives just from following you and from knowing you. So can you enlighten us on how we can get financial freedom in real estate through cooperatives?
All right, so the idea behind cooperative is the same idea God used to create the world. And if you ask me, Muji, what do you mean? I will say, when God wanted to create the world or create human, he said, let us create man in our own image. That let us. It's not that God cannot say, it's time for me to create. So I believe that let us is the most important statement in this world. You don't have to do it alone. Who was God referring to? God Almighty. He said, let us. So it means that us, togetherness. What he also said again, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name. So that doesn't mean you can't pray alone and he will answer you. But he also emphasizes it. It's not me that wrote it. It's there. You know, by people that where 2 or 3 are gathered. So there's a power in togetherness. There's a power in numbers. So, and this is really what I'm advocating for. To say, you don't have to do it on your own, especially when you are in your highly productive years. As highly productive as money is coming in, your demands are also higher. I have 3 kids, for example, and I have a mom. So what that means is, apart from black tax, all this family, there are certain responsibilities that I will have to carry at this time of my life. So me now saying I want to buy a 500 million property and I'm saving towards it because we already talked about saving, might not happen because there's school fees, there's house rent, there's mommy, there's this. Even you as a baby girl, you want to also take care of yourself. There will always be. The next not even now talk about extended people, family, you know. So there's always something coming for your money. That's what I'm trying to say.
Lots of overhead costs.
You get. Even for your business, you also want to transition. You want to have a book launch. You want to have your birthday party. You want to have your child's birthday party. You want to have your wedding anniversary.
So a lot is taken out of that core income.
Do you understand?
That even though you're responsible, you may still not be able to achieve that dream.
People who are not saving now. I talk about people who are responsible, who work even in a proper corporation, whether you are in a bank or you're an insurance company, you are any what we can call good money. The truth is, there's always something demanding for that money. And if care is not taken, you just push real estate to the back. And that's why that many women have pushed it to the back. I can't kill myself. It's not for me. It's not for me. And that's why they are also giving me a listening ear to say, when Moji comes to say, you actually do not have to have all the money. And it's just simple math versus ₦1 million in 10 places is 10 million. ₦1 million in 100 places is 100 million. Of course, not everybody is going to buy the school of thoughts to say, oh, I don't have the headache of working with other people. All well and good. Go and buy your mortgage or 1 million. You can actually buy gold. And I also say, you don't have to do real estate. But what I'm just saying is, do you know that with the little in your hand, if you don't mind partnering with other people, you can actually achieve that dream. And the good thing about this life is that clarity comes in doing. So I see a lot of people asking, so who's name will be interested? Who's shaking? Excuse me. When you are ready, you will get all the details because you can only see what you're looking for.
So my understanding from this is that cooperatives is about bringing the little you have, combining with one or more individuals to be able to purchase an asset
That's it.
and share in the returns and benefits of that asset.
Absolutely.
So do you provide a platform that allows people to converge and come together, or would you say you're more of an educational resource?
So beyond the education, initially it was just an idea and I was sharing it as an educational idea, like, okay, you can go do it. Up till now, it is still, I think the liberation even comes more from people hearing it. A lot of people are going to listen to this podcast now and they're just going to have a wake-up call, right? I've also spoken to people who are struggling, not even in Nigeria. I've spoken to a lady who lives abroad and she was telling me about how she wants to buy the house in the country where she lives before she comes to buy in Nigeria. But even the one in the country she lives, she's still struggling to get even the initial deposit or something.
Mm-hmm.
But in our conversation, just by me sharing my story, she realized that she actually told me herself that, do you know that I've gotten answers to what I'm looking for? I said, what? She said, Moji, you just made me know that I was thinking about how to reach out to my best friend to loan me half of the money because I have half of it. But by sharing your story, rather than tell her to loan it to me, I will tell her that let's buy it together.
Let's join forces.
And I'm like, and the beautiful thing about this Chics Doing Real Estate is that, it is an idea that came from me asking God, why am I here? This is my purpose. I'm clear.
I love that.
That's why I took it. So Chics Doing Real Estate has now transitioned. There's a book, there's a conference, there's a cooperative, there's a Shiba Wealth Fund where we're raising funds, and there's actually even building construction. And there's going to be a bank. That's the big goal.
Amazing.
So it's a CDRE all the way. So this is why I'm here. So I'm clear. But initially when I got the mandate, right, help my people build wealth through, of course, real estate was what is in my hand. And I'm sure you also know that every time you go to church, you'll say, what is in your hand? But so I was thinking, what is in my hand? What is in my hand? What is in my hand? Well, I find out that over 6 years ago, it was my birthday actually. And a friend of mine, just, the way they post you on your birthday,
yeah,
they say, well, very nice girl, very supportive person. And a friend of mine just actually wrote something about me that I read. It's not me that wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
But on your birthday, maybe after your birthday in the night, say, this person posted me, this person. And it gave me a light bulb moment, and that's what's in your hand. So what is in my hand is that I'm trustworthy. I have integrity. I take it to the back. My word is my bond. You can trust me. And it's not common. And you must own it. And I own it with all the sense of humility. And I understand real estate. This is what I studied. It's not that I jumped into it or I'm swimming in it or I found myself in it. I studied it. Beyond that, I did all my professional exams. Also, I have a license. What that means is I'm certified and I'm licensed to do this job. And I do it. This is what I've done in how many years? 15 years or more. And one of my greatest question I ask myself when we had clients buy houses over the years is, when am I going to buy them? And you see a lot of abandoned projects, even in Marina, all these nice places, and you're like, this house, they say 1 billion. But 10 million in 100 places can actually do this.
That's true.
100 million in 10 places, you can get this.
That's true. When you think about it in that bigger picture.
Thought about, but I didn't have it to get now. But it has, the way they say all these things come in presets by presets. So those are just ideas I've always had to say, this place is 5 million. If I can get one more person. And that was how my own journey to started. So it didn't start as a business. It was just that I did a transaction and I was expecting 5 million. I was expecting, not that it has even landed. But I knew that it's not every day you do transaction that you get 5 million. Mm-hmm. So I knew I was going to just let it land and I'm careless. And that's also part of what we're teaching people to say. You need to prepare ahead for when the money comes. So it's not when the money comes, you now start saying, I don't even know what to do with this money. I hear it a lot of time, and it's from women. That it's only women that will tell you, I don't know what to do with that money. And in that place where you are saying you don't know what to do with that money, if you don't take action, by the time you wake up, that money is remaining under you. Because there's always something
to spend your money on, for sure. So, Moji, you've said all these beautiful things that you're doing. You have your book, you have your conferences, you even have a platform where there's a contribution platform, which is also amazing. And I'm sure a lot of listeners and a lot of viewers want to tap into that energy. So I want to ask you, how can our listeners or our viewers connect with you? And also, what action do you encourage them to take after listening to this podcast?
Very profound. What action should they take after listening to this podcast? Is that they should have a conversation with themselves. They should have a deep conversation, honest conversation with themselves to say, what do I really want? Where am I going? What do I want? And this conversation is not just with you. You need to align with God in this process to say, what do I really want to do? How do you see yourself? Because it's difficult to say you want to start investing without even having a why you want to. So it even goes deeper to say, why do I even want to earn money? Because some people believe owning money is also satanic, right? So you need to, first of all, even know why you want to earn more. Why do I even want to partner? Because it's not going to come easy. It's not going to be, if it was easy, everybody would do it. I see a lot of people who are asking, we just don't want to manage these things. But I know that if it was easy, it would have been everywhere. So, I mean, this is me. This is why, it's my joy to see people come to say, oh, I did this. And it's already happening. Not even in Nigeria. People are abroad and say, oh, I reached out to my girlfriend. 10 of us are already doing this.
Amazing.
It's already happening. So
those are testimonials.
Do you get? And it's beyond saying, oh, they must do it with me. I'm a property evangelist. This is my own gospel. So you go and build what God makes you wealthy. God made you wealthy. You are a royal priesthood. You are beyond whatever the devil is telling you. You are light. And all these things can only come to light when you also have affluence, money to also back it up. So it's not that you are banking on money to make you who you are. You need to understand that money is beyond a tool. It is also a form of entrustment. God entrusts you with that money, and it's also a form of stewardship. So that's also why you must know why you need to earn money. So if you don't know that, you now start thinking, how do I want to do this? So it's not by force for you to do real estate. You can do stocks, you can do shares, you can do gold, you can do Bitcoin. There are lots of avenues to these things. But if you really want to do real estate, you need to be disciplined, because real estate is not for the faint-hearted. There are even people who are ready to dupe you for your wedding. So you must also work with professionals. So seek professional help. Very important. Beyond watching the videos, you must know that there are real estate marketers and there are real estate professionals. So you need to also, and beyond all this, before you even dabble into start investing, you need to read. And that's why this podcast is also good. You need to come online, click on it and watch it, digest it, understand it. Because when you come from a place of understanding, it's a lot better than when they say, I don't even understand. When they said survey, a lot of people have bought land with survey. Tiki survey the titles of.
Yes, I see that all the time. Yes.
We've been doing videos level 7 years ago.
I see that all the time, yes.
To document, explaining receipts, explaining what a deed of assignment.
And I feel like this happens a lot more with, like, when you go and buy land, and you buy village land, or you buy all these estates.
Because those are the cheap places.
Yes, and they tell you, when you see title, survey. That's not title. Survey is not title.
And it's also good we also explain to the people that if we are telling you survey is not title, and a land is saying all they have is survey, and another land is telling you they have governor's consent, or another landowner is saying they have COP, they also paid for it. And that's the difference in the price.
And that is why it's so exactly. So you find that in these neighboring lands, one is 15 million and one is 3 million. And you're like, I'll go for these people, they are cheating me. I'll go for the 3 million one. They have survey. COO is very expensive and cumbersome to get. And so that also adds to the price of that. And you find that by the time you pay for that, you have peace of mind.
And by the time you pay for that, your pocket will fill it. And that means you have to transfer it to whoever is acquiring that property. And that's why real estate is not cheap. All over the world, real estate is not cheap.
True.
You want to stay in the city, you want to stay in New York, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
The same rent for maybe a basement in New York can rent a 2-bed in other states. So you must be clear on what you're doing. First of all, that's the action I'll say you should take. And if you want to reach out to me, you can just check me on Instagram, Moji Real Estate, and you can also follow our page, Chics Doing Real Estate.
Amazing, Moji. God made you wealthy. So go forth and multiply.
Exactly.
Words are from the lips of Mojisola Afolayan. Moji, I'm so grateful that you came on this.
Exactly.
And for our viewers watching, my name is Amara Musa. I've been your host on Deal Landers. And we've had the pleasure of having Mojisola Afolayan with us. So guys, until next time, bye-bye.